Thanks everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to talk about real estate investing. We're going to talk about data. We're going to talk about technology. And hopefully, I'm going to show you some different ways that you can start leveraging data in your business. A lot of times we're just kind of firefighters, right? And we're out there just putting out fires and not really having any sort of a plan on the best ways to approach our real estate investing business. So today I'm going to show you some ways that you can actually start to leverage what the pros are doing, and maybe you're already a pro, and we'll be able to help you add some efficiencies into your business here. So let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Benson Juarez. I'm one of the owners of Privy. We're a real estate investment software company. I've been in the business for over 20 years. I've done everything from wholesaling to fix and flip to buy and hold. I haven't done many, creative deal type scenarios, but I've done, quite a bit. I've been in the business for many years. I've seen the ups and downs of the markets, and I'm personally investing currently. I'm also a licensed real estate agent. I've been licensed since mid 2000s. So my perspective on real estate investing is pretty unique, I would say, because fortunately for me, I get to operate at the intersection of my two passions, which are technology and real estate. And I actually went to school for coding. It was computer information systems, and so that's pretty cool. I have that in my background. So I've been able for years to be able to use data and technology in my business. And so I want to show you some ways that I've used it to leverage, finding different properties and for opportunities there. So the main thing that we're trying to do for you guys is to help you solve many of the issues that we built Privy to solve for over 10 years ago. So can't find enough deal flow, not consistently at least, spending money on ineffective marketing campaigns that weren't just giving us a good return on the investment. Writing offers on tons of properties, but maybe just not winning bids, always getting beat out by somebody, and not knowing why. But maybe you get a lead and you're just looking at it and you can't understand, what the value is. You don't have the data that you need to be able to understand what offers to write, let alone what the after repair value is. Or, maybe you don't have the ability to find buyers. So if you are doing wholesale, one of the biggest problems is finding buyers that are actually taking action, buyers that have the ability to help you execute your wholesale strategy by giving you that assignment fee. Now, Privy is exit strategy agnostic. So we're not for one strategy or another. So this is going to help you do wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, creative deal structure. We've got lots of other like service providers like lenders, title companies, obviously real estate agents that use Privy as well. But the strategy that I developed called the reverse REI strategy uses some tried and true practices that many business owners have used for years, but it works really well in real estate too. And that's beginning with the end in mind. So there was a book written by Stephen Covey many years ago, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the second habit is begin with the end in mind. And what that means is you basically just think several steps down the line, and then you reverse engineer the process. And for me, and for this strategy, what that means is you look for deals where the ingredients are already present for you to be able to assemble a deal. And that requires you to have some foresight. Is the data that you need to be able to prove after repair value on a house going to be present? Are the buyers there? Is the demand there? Is the activity there that you're going to need to be able to execute a business strategy going to be there? So the main thing this helps you to do, it really, at least initially, is to locate the best areas to invest. It'll also allow you to look for deals where the comps are already present. Where are deals being done? It'll allow you to research a market and become a local market expert faster than ever before. So you really can understand like what are the local market realities in a particular area, because the data tells us that all markets are different. A deal in Dallas is not the same thing as a deal in Denver. A deal in Denver is not the same thing as a deal in Tampa or Philadelphia. And so if you try to apply a universal strategy to your business, you're going to end up making mistakes. And a lot of it's going to be stuff that you don't understand. And many of us think that the biggest problems in our business are things like which list we're buying, what ringless voicemail, what software we're using, who our real estate agent is, what the script is, or what kind of text blasting service you're using. My opinion is the biggest thing that's going to help you succeed is if you choose the right area. You could be the best marketing expert in the world, but if you're doing off market marketing, you're trying to target deals in Hays, Kansas, you're going to fail because there's not enough of all the other ingredients there to help you succeed. So all that other stuff matters, but it's not nearly as important on where you look for deals. Okay. Now, one of the coolest things about this is this allows you to invest virtually. So if you happen to be in a market that doesn't have a lot of the ingredients, and what we call it is it doesn't have good investment activity, then you could just choose another market. So again, I'm picking on Hays, Kansas. I don't know if there's anybody here from Hays. You should not be looking for deals there. Where you should be looking is in other areas around there that have high investor activity. And that's really cool. So you'll be able to collaborate and work with others, but you can leverage the data that we have in Privy that's proprietary, this investment activity. So some of just kind of high level things. I mentioned off market properties, on market. Well, we have both. We've got public record data, owner information, mortgage information, deed data, off market leads like foreclosures, absentee owners, vacancies, tired landlords, zombie properties, inter-family transfers, like all kinds of stuff, way more leads than you need. Okay. We've got additional algorithms that will help you automate your business. So when you're at your 9 to 5 job, or when you're with the family, or when you're, hanging out with, coworkers for a holiday party, the system will be working for you behind the scenes to help you track markets, identify opportunities. But again, it's all based off of what's working for other investors. Okay. So let's jump in here. I'm going to show you how this works. I'll go ahead and I'll just hide the slides here. So you're looking at Privy. It's web-based. It's an application you can access from any device that has an internet connection, even your mobile device. If you're out in the field and you're driving around and you come across a property that has it's run down, or the mail's falling out of the mailbox, the grass is overgrown, and you're wondering, man, I wonder what that thing is worth. Just come into your phone, just type in the address right into the Privy system, and the system will go in and analyze that for you, show you the owner information, and so you can quickly determine if that's something you want to pursue. One of the things that makes us different, people always ask, well, what makes you different from other platforms? The biggest difference is that we're the only platform that has direct to MLS data on scale. What I mean on scale is that there are some small companies in local markets here and there that have an agreement with their local MLS, but we've actually been able to successfully negotiate direct data feeds from the MLS into our system, raw data, in over 100 different markets. Wherever you see the blue on the map is those markets that we've already negotiated those contracts. The blue and the pink or red is where the ones that we're currently working on, those are like in some sort of stage in the process. And then where you see black and yellow is either county record data or what we call third-party listing data. So that third-party listing data will give you listings. It will give you information about homes, but it isn't the best that's available. That's data that you might find in like a PropStream or like a Batch Leads. They all have that third-party listing data. And we have it too, right? We have that as our foundation because that's where we get the county record and public record data as well. But what we've done is we've gone and we've scaled up the quality of the data, the accuracy of the data, the timeliness of the data by negotiating these direct to MLS data feeds. And now we've got that in over 100 markets. And when you sign up for Privy, if you are licensed, we can give you a little bit more information. But if you're not licensed, that's okay too. You can still have access to that level of information, but we can also connect you with licensed individuals if you wanted to write offers on our property. And that's one of the things that I did when I first started doing deals remotely is I wanted to find a local real estate agent in that market who could help me submit offers. And I found that person using Privy. So earlier I mentioned you want to be very laser targeted about where you look for deals. You don't just want to go and blast. So over here on the left, I'm going to click this button that says fix and flip, and that's actually going to plot on the map where all the fix and flip activity is nationwide. Now, I'm not suggesting that you have to do fix and flip. What I'm telling you is that if you are measuring how good a deal is in your business based off of a percentage of after repair value, then you have to be looking for deals in areas where there's high investor activity. So high investor activity could be sourced right here in the Privy system just by looking at the map. It's all visual, right? So it's essentially like a heat map. Where you see lots of blue with high numbers has high investor activity. Where you see areas like South Dakota where there's just a big hole, those are areas that have little or no investor activity. So those are areas you should avoid. Earlier, I mentioned Hays, Kansas. Look at Hays right here, all by its lonesome self. Hays is a place where you do not want to be looking for deals. Could you stumble into a deal in Hays? Possibly, maybe. But could you really build a business around it? Could you have predictable deal flow? Can you have consistent deal flow? Can you have all the ingredients that you need to be able to execute a well-oiled machine as a business? The answer is no. And so you shouldn't be spending time looking here. Now, that's obvious, right? It's just a big hole. But you go into some markets and you do see some investor activity, and you might think, well, there's some blue there. Is that better than another market? And what I say is there really is not a threshold. Like there's no certain number where you want to be over a certain number for it to make sense. Really just compare markets and think about what's called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means that whenever you're doing something, you're not doing something else. Or every dollar you spend doing on one thing is another dollar you can't spend on something else. So you're losing out on another opportunity. So this up here, it looks like there's a little bit of activity up here in this little area. I don't want to go up there and do deals because just south of there is a big hot pocket right over Kansas City. The market that I was mentioning earlier about when I started doing virtual deals was St. Louis. So I decided that Colorado didn't give me everything I needed. There's some decent investor activity in Colorado, but my long-term goal is to build a portfolio of cash flowing properties. And the prices of the homes in Colorado are so high that it's hard to make cash flow work on new purchases. So I wanted to find another market. And so I actually chose St. Louis. So you can see here, there's been over 1,800 properties that have been purchased, fixed up, and sold in the last 12 months, right? Now, again, exit strategy agnostic. It doesn't matter whether you want to do wholesale or fix to flip or buy and hold. Again, if you're measuring your discount based off a percentage of ARV, even if you're building a portfolio, then you want to be in areas like this. If you start to scroll to the right, we see here that the majority of the best areas to look for deals happen to be in the Midwest and the East Coast. The hottest market right now in the whole US is actually the Philadelphia market. So if I look over here, 5,300 deals have happened in the greater Philadelphia market in the last 12 months. So that's, twice as much as what I found in St. Louis. Look at Chicago over here. Chicago has over 4,000 deals. So probably my top three markets are Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta, and then we'll throw Tampa in there too. Dallas is also up there as well as a good market. Now, I will mention about Dallas. One of the things that's a challenge for a lot of investors is what's called non-disclosure states. So non-disclosure states, the county or the state has determined that is a violation of privacy for them to publish sales prices publicly. So they don't publish those. And so if you're trying to analyze a property and you're using the normal data that's available to the public, you're not going to know what a house sold for. And in some markets, they'll give you a range. Like if the house sold for 300, they might say it sold between 275 and 325. So it's like a $50,000 range there, which essentially makes that useless. And in most markets, they don't show it at all. But if you are using Privy, because we have the direct to MLS data, then you will see all of those sold prices because that comes from the MLS. It also comes with rich photos and property descriptions, agent information, a lot of information that you need to be able to execute your strategy. So let's go back up here to St. Louis. I'm sorry, Philadelphia. So Philadelphia had a ton of activity. Some other markets that you might consider are like Nashville, Knoxville, Richmond, Baltimore always has a ton of activity. I mentioned Atlanta, but look at Philly right here. So we're going to drill down in here. Now, I've never been to Philadelphia, but I guarantee you, in just a short amount of time, I will know the Philadelphia market as well or better than investors that are doing deals in that market right now, or agents that are doing deals there, because I have the data. The data teaches you what the local market realities are. And sometimes we need a reality check to see what's actually going on. So I'm going to drill down even further. And these clusters here, these property clusters, the blue circles, they start to break up into smaller clusters. So I get a little bit closer here. They break up even further, even further. And now these clusters will break up into the individual properties that comprise those clusters. So right in here, here's a hot pocket in Philadelphia. So going one more time, and now I think it's 300 properties on the map. We did that for loading purposes. Once you get below 300, then they start to show the individual homes. So every one of these properties is a deal. Now, what we call a deal is a house that was purchased, fixed up, and sold, and they purchased it lower than 75% of the ARV. So there is no sort of tag that is put in the MLS or in the county record sales data that tells us that a house is definitively a flip. Okay. Again, I'm not telling you you need to be flipping, but if you're looking for discounts, the easiest way to find a deal is to find the house that needs some work, whether it's completely trashed or just needs some fix up, that's right next door to the house that was fixed and flipped and sold yesterday. So the goal is to find that. Now, there is, these filters here that you could use to go and find these properties, but we have that baked into that one button. So it's really simple to use. All I did was click that one button, and now I've got all the investor activity. So again, I haven't been to the Philadelphia market, but I want to start to do some research. So I'm going to click this property card right here, and this is going to open up this report. It's called a comparative market analysis, or a CMA. It's just a fancy name for a report that brings all of the information together about a property in one place. Interesting note, like I said, I am a real estate agent. The MLS doesn't do this. The MLS does not bring all this information into one place for you and automatically pull comps for you. It's still a manual process. So with 20 years of experience and access to the MLS, it'll still take me an hour or two to just analyze one property. So I can only imagine what the average investor out there is up against, bouncing around to different internet sites like Zillow and Redfin, and pulling information and not knowing what's what. It is not a way that you should be running your business, because in a situation where numbers matter, you do not want to be hacking that situation. And that's one of the things that investors, we'll say entrepreneurs, are notorious for, is actually going in and trying to do everything manually, and trying to hack situations where we like to do stuff on the cheap. We don't like to pay for tools. We like to do everything ourselves. We like to, figure out creative solutions for situations. And that's just not a good way to do it, especially when you're trying to make money and build a business. So, you want to get access to the best tools and information that's available so that you can execute your strategy. I apologize. This is the time of night that the internet just really, really slows down. So I hope it's not completely horrible on your end. But this is property right here, 417,000. If I scroll down here to this section down here, it's called the before and after section. This is what actually teaches us what a deal is. So I can come in here and see that this property was purchased for 210,000. It sold for 417,000. They had a $207,000 gross profit. Gross meaning this isn't what they actually put in their pocket. That's the gross. And then what they actually put in their pocket would be less any costs like realtor fees, construction fees, any title fees, other soft costs. Uh, and that information isn't publicly available. It's on their own books. So whenever we're talking about searching for deals and we're talking about, hey, I get this property at 60% of the ARV, we're always talking gross numbers anyway. Okay. We're never talking about net. But at the end of the day, when you're doing your own projects, you will eventually want to go and calculate what your true net costs are going to be so that you can see if it makes sense. But when we're looking in general, we can see here that they bought this property at 50%. So this one was actually purchased off market. So you can see here that this says public records. If this one was purchased from the MLS, it would have an MLS ID here. And then um, it would have like an agent information and then photos. But it's because it was purchased off market, it has the street view here. Okay. We can also see other things like timelines. So it's important to know like how long a project takes. Even if you're doing wholesale, you want to have a sense of carrying costs, especially if your buyers are using hard money or using hard money. If you think of a construction project's going to take 60 days and it takes 292 days, you can imagine that that's going to cut into your profit pretty severely. So you want a good understanding of like what is it taking the average investor in that market to do a deal, and that's quite a while, right? When they, let's say, put it back on the market, it was 51 days on the market, and then there was a total of 343 days from the day that they purchased the property to when they actually closed. 343 days, right? Pretty interesting. So down here, you can see that this property was in foreclosure. So we got this foreclosure information. The assessor's data is very valuable because in a situation where you are, say, wholesaling, there's two parts of the transaction. There's the acquisition, which is where you're going out and you're finding deals, getting them under contract. And then there's disposition. Disposition is the back end. This is where you have to go and take that under contract, the contract you have, and then you have to sell it to an end buyer for an assignment fee or for a fee. And the people that are going to do that are going to be fix and flippers and landlords. So this strategy I'm showing you right now is showing you, number one, which area is the best to go and source these deals. Number two, who are the flippers that are actually doing these properties? So right here, RMP Development LLC is the company that flipped this property, right? So RMP Development is an active fix and flipper. And this is one of the coolest things that I like to highlight when I'm showing this demo, is that not all buyers are created equal. You can go to your local real estate investment club or meetup, and there's going to be people there who say they're buyers, but are they really? Right? Are they really buying properties? And you don't know, right? I guess you have to believe them to some sense, but you don't know if they are. But we know that RMP Development is doing deals because they just closed this house a couple days ago. The other thing that's cool about this is that when you are talking to buyers, there's this trust gaining process where you talk to them and you get them to know who you are, you get them to like you, and then eventually trust you. And then at that point, they'll start to share some of their buying criteria with you, and you guys can start to build some rapport and potentially build a business relationship. But it takes some time. With Privy and with this data process I'm showing you guys right now, we can start to learn their buying criteria before we even talk to them. So we know that RMP Development will buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,170 square foot row home in 19147. That's without even talking to them. And so that is extremely valuable because we can use these comparative market analysis reports to turn a potential cold call, right? Because the next step after this, if I want to get RMP Development on my buyers list, is to reach out to them. So what I would do is I would actually try to find this person. And I won't get into the weeds on this thing, but I just want to show you real quickly. You can just Google it. RMP Development LLC. We'll just do Philadelphia, PA. And you never know what you're going to find. Sometimes you find a Look at this, a website. Sometimes you find a Facebook group. Sometimes all you find is just the Secretary of State filing. Usually, like a company like Open Corporates will pop up, or Dun and Bradstreet. But here's RMP Development, the Genetti Group. Let's look at this real quick. Local development company, focus on development renovation. This is them. I think this is them. Now, you normally don't come across the website like this so quickly. This just happened to be how it worked out, but you can see that this is a house they recently fixed and flipped. Here's another one. We can get their contact information right here, call them, right? Contact. Again, it doesn't typically work like that. What you're normally going to find is a website like Open Corporates, and then you just type in the information there, and you'll be able to do it that way. So Open Corporates. So this is just a publicly available website. You come in here, and they used to allow you just to search it, but I think now you have to actually create an account. Let's see if I can log in real quick. I don't know. Technical problem. So all I would do is just put RMP development in there with Philadelphia, PA, and it's going to show me the directors, or a registered agent or some name there. Then I'm going to take that name and I'm going to put it into True People Search, a free skip tracing service. And you just put the name of the person here in the city and state, and that's going to go in and do a free skip trace. So it'll allow you to find phone numbers, email addresses, and some other valuable information, but it's completely free. So leverage this piece of it, and I've found hundreds of buyers by doing that exact same process, by Googling it, and then if I don't find them, I go to Open Corporates, and then I go into True People Search. Now you can also go to like a skip tracing company if you want to do that on scale, but there is actually it's actually a good learning process to go through it manually. So again, I don't want to spend too much time on that piece, but let me just close these out so I can get some bandwidth back. I know my internet is going slow. So RMP. So I know RMP will buy properties at up 50% of the ARV in the zip code. I've done some local market research. I'm getting more comfortable with the market, right? That's the whole point of this process. So I won't want to do this too much, but what I recommend to people is to go back and look at like the last probably 10 to 20 closed deals in that target area to be able to analyze what's going on, and really just figure out what a deal is. Remember, I said that a deal is different everywhere. And so you'll start to figure out, okay, what range are people buying them for? What range are they selling them for? And what range is the percentage of ARV they're buying at? And that will teach you what a deal is. And if we come down here again, this one was another off-market deal. They got it for 35% of the ARV. Pretty amazing. 35%. Cool. Let's look at another property here. So I'm going to actually refresh this because I do see that my internet is going really slow. And this is just one market. The process that I'm showing you right now would work the exact same in any other market, Denver, Colorado Springs, what have you. And actually, let's do that in Denver. Actually, no, I want to show you one more thing. I want to show you how you can find deals in other markets real quickly, and then we'll jump into the Denver market. The other thing I wanted to mention too is this is a newer feature where if you are looking for an investor-friendly agent, we have agents right here. We've got several agents that are in Privy. They're Privy users. They're investor-friendly, and they've raised their hand and said they want to work with investors. So this is one of the easiest, fastest ways to find an investor-friendly agent is just to use our drop down here. There's no responsibility to work with any of those people. You can work that out between yourselves, but we do put that there for our people so that they can make connections. And if you are an agent and you decide you want to use Privy, you can be on these lists for free. We don't charge any extra for that, at least right now. We plan on maybe doing that down the road, but we're really kind of just rolling this out, and we want to get feedback from people. But if I wanted to look at who Milan is, I can just click that profile. It pops right up: email, phone number, agent information, little bio, and then you can switch up here down on the top, who the people are. I can click Sven here, and then I can put Sven as my go-to agent, select agent, and then now Sven's at the top there, so I can maybe Sven's the one I'm going to send my properties to him. All right, cool. So we've learned the market. We've started to figure out who the actors are in those markets. I want to point out too, right here at the bottom, when I click this comparative market analysis, this shows me who the agent was that represented the flipper. And that's how I found my agent in the St. Louis market. Is I just looked at the bottom here and I was able to find somebody who was representing lots of flippers, reached out, introduced myself, and basically got her to work with me 100% virtually. I just told her what my goals were, that I wanted to start off with doing some wholesale, and I planned on doing anywhere from 10 to 12 deals that year, and I wanted to build a portfolio. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. So I was able to find that agent by just looking at the agents that are representing flippers. Again, not just relying on what people say they're doing, but looking at what the data says. Now, we're doing some local market research. We're getting comfortable with the market. We're even potentially thinking we would do some remote deals here, right? Now we're going to start sourcing some opportunities that we can take action on. So there's two main sources of deals, right? Off market and on market. Now there's pros and cons of both. And if you want to go with the off market, we are going to do it differently with Privy than we would with another platform. If you were using, just the county record data, again, you're going to be laser focused on where you pull your list from. If we lived in Hays, Kansas, again, I want to pick on them again. We don't want to just pull a random list there. We want to make sure we're pulling a list of potential leads from this area where the chances are going to be higher that if we find a motivated seller, maybe somebody who's in foreclosure or somebody who's in a bad situation, that they're going to be in the same neighborhood where flips are happening. And if they are, then there's a lot of benefit to that. One, it's going to be easier for us to be able to determine the after repair value. Number two, if we know that we have to say, be it 55% of the ARV for the numbers to make sense, if we're in an area that has high investor activity, then I can write a higher offer because the values in that neighborhood are determined by renovated homes. But if I'm in an area that's in low investor activity, then the values in that neighborhood are determined by unrenovated homes. So my values come way down, and guess what that does? It pushes my offer down. So now I have to write an offer at, say, 55% of the last sale, which might be just a regular house that was unrenovated. And so that's why homeowners get mad when you submit lowball offers, because you're doing it because you have to do it to make the numbers work. But if you just been a little bit more strategic about where you look for offers or look for deals where there's higher values, well, and guess what happens? That pulls your offer up. So now you can give a higher offer on properties because the values in those neighborhoods are determined by investor activity, renovated homes. That strategy alone will help you get more offers accepted. And guess what? More offers accepted, more properties under contract, more dispositions, more closings, right? That simple thing. So if I wanted to pull that list, I'm going to come into the filter, scroll down here. We can pull lists of, say, absentee owners, interfamily transfers, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, senior owners, tired landlords, vacancies, zombie properties. These are just some of the opportunities you can do to find off-market leads. You can actually use these tags for on-market leads too. Now that brings me to on-market. You're going to be told by a lot of people out there that you can't find good deals on the MLS. Absolutely not true. I know some people that only do on-market deals because they don't want to spend money chasing a bunch of people around who don't want to sell their houses in the first place. And it's low-hanging fruit. Like, who is more motivated to sell a property than somebody who puts their house in the market, right? They've raised their hand, said they want to sell it, and they've also told us what the price is that they want to sell it for. The only thing at that point that we need to do to turn that into a deal is to make sure we can get it at the right price. And if we are targeting a high investor activity area, we can give them an offer that makes sense, that will still give us the margins we need to be able to give us a deal that we can do ourselves, maybe turn in a rental or do a wholesale deal. But the on-market strategy doesn't work all that well in low investor activity areas because you don't have those renovated houses that allows you to pull your offer up so that you can actually offer closer to asking price, right? We know what the price is that they want for those on-market areas. So let's go ahead and look for a deal here. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click this investor activity button, and this is going to pop out the slide out. And this button right here, this green button, this is proprietary. This is actually part of our patent pending, which allows us to basically run comps on all the properties that are in this area. And it's going to leverage these closed deals and use those as a model for what a successful deal looks like. And then it reverse engineers it. So with the click of a button, Privia will go in and analyze all of those properties. And then I'm going to adjust this slightly because the default filter is set for 75% of the ARV. Okay, so 75%. So for example, if you can get a house for 150, that means you can sell it for more than 200 grand. Now, in the Philadelphia market, we know that we need to be lower than that. So I'm going to say lower this to say 55%. And 75%, that might work in a market like Colorado or LA or Portland or Seattle. But in these lower priced areas, it's not going to work. So we're going to lower this. And let's say, for example, we talk to one of our buyers and we talked to Cisco or one of those other flippers that we saw earlier. So I'm going to lower this, and maybe they said, you know what, I'm approved for a hard money loan up to 210,000, right? We can essentially build the buy box of ourselves or the buy box of our clients and or buyers in the system, and it will automatically find deals for us. So I'm going to rerun this. And now it's going to show us properties that are available right now. And then we just have to go in and look at the comparables to see if they make sense, right? So what our system is doing is it's comparing the ask price of the home to the price of the comps. And it's looking for that percentage of ARV of 55% or less. So here's a couple of houses that were found. This one's 165. It's a 3-1, 1,072 square feet. You know, from the exterior, you can't really tell the condition, but now we're looking at the photos here and you can see this thing is almost, you know, all original, right? It's got, you know, the word paneling and, you know, actually this is built in 1923. So they had done an update, but they got Formica countertops, old cabinets, mismatched appliances. This thing is perfect for a fix and flip, right? So now we're going to scroll down here into, you can see here we got the property remarks. If you're licensed and you want to use Privy, we can show you the agent and office information. If you're unlicensed, we can't show that to you. If you're also licensed, we can show you the private remarks. But I'm going to scroll down here and we're going to see all of this blue. So the more blue we have, the more data there is that says this thing's a deal. And what I'm going to do here is the algorithm automatically comps the property out for us. So it's already eliminating all of the properties that are too big, too small, too far away. Our algorithm actually uses a very tight tolerance. If it's a single family detached, we use a 15% tolerance on the square feet, 15% plus or minus. On condos and townhomes, we use a 10% tolerance. So it's really tight here. We're matching up the stories, property type, property style, and we're all doing all of that within a half a mile of the subject. But you can see here that this box crosses over this yellow road, and we know that yellow roads are indicative of the line between two different neighborhoods, right? So we're going to adjust this. We have a drawing tool here. So I'm going to click the drawing tool, and I'm going to draw a line right down the middle here. And I'm going to come over here. And what this is going to do is it's going to eliminate any comparables that are outside that zone. So now we got all these here. Everything was eliminated. That automatically adjusts the map view as well as the table view below. So if I close settings again, all the comparables that are here now are ones that are only on the west side of that major road. So again, we can buy this house for 165. In the closest sold fix and flip, remember the whole point of the reverse REI strategy is that increases the chances that you have a comp that was flipped that you can use to prove after repair value for yourself and also that you can use to prove after repair value to an appraiser and or a buyer if you're doing wholesale. And so this house at asking price, look at these numbers over here. The system does the math for you. 165 is 50% of 330. So this, again, without even going in and negotiating a really deep discount and having to submit a lowball offer and not get a response back from the agent, or pissing off the homeowner by giving them some sort of an offensive offer, because we're in the same neighborhood as fix and flips, we can get close to asking price. And even at asking price, we're at 50%. And that's the same percentage of ARV that last deal we looked at, I think, that they bought it off market, right? So they had to go through marketing costs. They had to go and drive around, and they had to, do all of the follow-up, and maybe it's 6 months before they can get that person to selling that house. This right here, it happened in a fraction of a second. It's 165 grand. I see there's someone that has their hand raised. I will answer some questions at the end. So what I would do is just put your question in the chat there, and we can actually answer it in a bit, and then we'll look at it then. Okay. But I appreciate you raising your hand. Thank you. So looks like a pretty good deal, right? 30%. And then if we click this little information icon right here on Carlisle, this is going to open up that property, and then we can see what they did to this house to get to that $329,000 mark. Because if I am going to go and do a fixed flip myself, I want to understand what level of construction that I have to do in my house to get the same value. If I'm a buyer, if I'm a wholesaler, I want to be able to share these comparative market analysis with my buyers, so they can see, basically give them a blueprint. This is exactly what you need to do to this house I'm trying to sell you to get to the same value. So you're basically connecting the dots for them. You're providing them extra value that probably others aren't doing by just giving them access to this, and really taking out a lot of the guesswork and a lot of the extra, work that they'd have to do to figure out if it makes sense. The more information you can give them that makes it like a no-brainer, then the easier it is for them to say yes and write you a check for that assignment fee for the deal you found. Can you wholesale on market? Can you wholesale on market deals? Of course you can. Like I said, I've got people who use Privy, who've done $1 million in 1 year wholesaling only on market deals, and using the exact same strategy I'm showing you. All they do is just lock it up, and then you can go and assign it. But you have to have an assignment clause, right? Depending on the market, there's challenges there. Or you can double close, or you could do you could use an entity, like an LLC or another entity there. But this is a deal, right? So that's just one market. Now let's say we go to Denver. Let's apply the same strategy here. We're not going to find stuff at 55% of the ARV in Denver. So I'm going to adjust this, and we're not going to find anything lower than 210 either. So I'm going to raise this to say 70% or lower. And I'm going to adjust the purchase price up too. Let's just say we go to 700. So I'll rerun this. And then this is going to show us some houses. So this one right here, it's 4001 Calumet Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 923 square feet. Little, ranch style home. Here's the pictures. It looks like it's been nicely decorated, but it's all, original. Hardwood floors you could potentially refinish. Don't have a picture of the kitchen, which is probably the most important thing. But let's scroll down here and look at what's going on here with the property. So this property was flagged as a potential deal. And the reason why it was flagged as a potential deal is because it's in a neighborhood where we've got houses selling for $930,000, $850,000. This house was actually fixed and flipped and sold for $900,000. This one sold for $810,000. Now remember, all of these properties are comparable, similar property characteristics, similar square footages. Our house is a 3.2. This one here that sold for $930,000 is a 2.1. This one's a 3.2. This one's a 3.2. This one's a 3.2. So at asking price, without even having to go and negotiate a better deal, there's a potential here of having this property right around 60% of the ARV. Again, no marketing costs, no driving for dollars, no, banging your head against the wall, chasing people around and then ghosting you. So this one looks pretty good. This is something I would definitely look at. Now, does it mean it's always going to be a deal? No, there's always going to be variables and factors. But the cool thing is that you don't have to be out there, chasing homeowners around. You don't have to be a salesperson. If you're exclusively doing off market stuff, it's a sales job. So you better get your sales skills finely tuned in. You better understand how to build, credibility quickly, get them to know, like, and trust you quickly, get them to close, close them over the phone or in person. It is not easy. And that's one of the big reasons why, more than 9 out of 10 people will fail in this business is one of those scenarios. And because they're targeting the wrong areas. So that one looks decent. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, and I'm actually going to adjust the filter too, because I typed in Denver when really I just meant like the Denver metro area. So I'm including surrounding areas here, and I'm going to rerun this. And this will find us some other opportunities outside that market. All right, let's see what else do we have here. There's some townhomes. I'm not really big into townhomes. 460, 520. Oh, what's this in 267? That looks like a condo. 495. $530. Okay, let's scroll up a little bit here. $649. Now the reason why this is a higher priced home, but the reason why I clicked it is it has this little badge right here. So this badge right here is another tool that Privy added to help you understand that this house actually happens to be in an area that has investor activity. That's what that badge means. It's called Privy Preferred. So when I scroll down here, it looks like this is in Wash Park West. Property is being sold as is. And I come into here and I can see that all these properties around here. Okay. So this house is for sale for $650,000. And it's in the same area where houses, this one was just fixed and flipped, and it's for sale for 1.09 million. This one was fixed and flipped and sold for 955. 1.3 million, 1.1, 985, 1.1, 1 million. Now, the main thing to know about this one here is that it's a 2-1, and these ones are at least 3 2s. Well, this one's a 2-1. Oh, that's interesting. This one's a 2-1. And it's pending for 1.3 million. Actually, the highest sale of the entire comp set. So, if you can add another bedroom and bathroom to this house, it's going to help to push that value up. But there's data here that says this is worth targeting. And it's 649, 375 South Corona Street. The other thing I want to point out too is that Privy recently we partnered up with the largest provider of rental data in the whole entire country, and all that data is sourced from property management companies. So right here, if I click this data that says rentals, that now is looking at the rental comparables, and it is comparing apples to apples. So only 2 ones. So if I click the rents here, these here, they range from $1,500 a month to $2,800 a month, about maybe $3,000 a month. Not great rents for this price range. So you definitely would want to try to get in more bedrooms and bathrooms here. But if I click one of these here, like this one on Downing, this is going to slide in from the right over here, and we can see it. It looks got a similar look to it. And we can see right here, it's hard to see, but right below here is the property management company. So you got the photos, so you can see what a 2-bedroom, 1-bath ranch in Denver that's going for $3,000 a month. What does it need to look like? Can it be a rental grade rehab? Does it have to be something more high end? This is just kind of rental grade. I mean, it's kind of nice, but these cabinets are old and it's got old tile, but it's yielding 3,000 a month. So what's cool about that rental data is we actually have a filter to be able to find rental properties as well. So I showed you how to find discounted homes based off of percentage of ARV. But if I wanted to see if there's any rental properties here that maybe you can give us, like an 8% cap rate or whatever, we can do that. So we switch over from fix and flip to long-term rental right here. And that changes the criteria that we use to measure how good the deal is. So we can use cap rates, cash on cash return, annualized return, or gross yield. So depending upon what you're trying to do here, let's say I wanted a 7% cap rate and I got approved for a loan at $700,000 or less, we can run that search. So I'll go ahead and just run that, and this will show us if any of those properties match that criteria. And if they don't, if we can't find anything, then we can save the search and it will monitor those areas and keep looking for those homes. So I can click filter, click save search, give the search a name, and I might call it Denver rentals. And I can get alerts up to every hour. We can use this same search for finding properties to do fix and flip, wholesale. We can also stay up to speed on new houses that were flipped, so we can find additional buyers or investor-friendly agents. So let's look at a couple of these properties. Looks like some of those are townhomes. So this house right here, it's on North Fillmore. It's 525 grand. Not much of a house itself, but it looks like I can get some decent rent here. Yeah, that one's not going to work. Let's adjust this here a little bit lower, and I'm going to raise the price up too. I keep forgetting I'm back in Colorado again. Let's see what we can find. That one's there again. This one is, let's see, it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And it has rents that range from $1,600 a month to $2,500 a month. And we can adjust all of the assumptions on it. So right here, if you click edit, you can change the assumptions on all of the things that we have assumed for you beforehand. So right here, purchase price, we're assuming we're going to pay asking price for it. 20% down. If we realize that the rent is going to be, not as high as 2,400, but it's going to be, 2,000, we can adjust it right here on the fly. All of these adjust right here. We can look at different variables like occupancy. Maybe you're like, man, I think 90% occupancy is probably more realistic. Property management. Maybe you're going to manage it yourself. So let's get rid of the property management fee. We don't want to pay property management fee. So that adjusts it right there. So you can adjust all this stuff on the fly on properties that you find in Privy. You can enter properties in here. And if you do want to enter properties, you can just type in the address right here, what you're looking for, and it will build a comparative market analysis and help you analyze that property really quickly. So you guys, that's Privy in a nutshell. There's more, kind of, features and functionality there, but I showed you the majority of this stuff. The main thing that Privy is going to help you do is to get you access to the data that you need to be able to source good properties from the right areas, find properties that match your specific deal criteria, allow you to monitor multiple markets all at once automatically, so you can find deals right in Colorado, or you can find deals across the US, regardless of your exit strategy. On market, off market, wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, creative deal structure. The tool has made some of our users literally millions of dollars just by doing what I just showed you today. For just the basic person who's just getting started off, we'll help you do your first deal. One of our advocates that helps us sell Privy, his name is Jamil Damji. He's a really big investor. 70% of all of his students find their very first deal with Privy. So it's a great learning tool. It'll help you learn local markets. If you have been around for a while, we've got one of our users who's in the Chicago market. His name is Christian Chase. He's done over 350 deals that he found on Privy. 350. This is him right here. Here is Christian. Mahmoud Isa, he's a wholesaler. He lives in San Francisco. He does virtual wholesaling in the Tampa market. Let me switch this over. I wish they would have a default swap. There we go. When I talked to him last, he had done over $600,000 in deals that he just got from Privy. That's just the assignment fee. That's not the gross revenue. Michelle Garbito found her largest assignment fee deal ever on Privy, and it was a $30,000 on-market deal that she found in Colorado Springs. The algorithm found it for her. All she had to do was just get under contract. She did and made that money, $300,000. So what I basically did was just show you a systematic approach that you can implement into your business to be able to implement automation. It's going to minimize your risk. It's going to help you save a ton of time. You're not going to have to rely on others. You don't have to rely on an agent to go and run comps for you. You don't have to rely on a team member. If you want to search for deals and run comps and analyze properties while you're watching Monday Night Football at night, you should be able to do that. Because if you are working with somebody else and then you're relying on another person, then it's going to be time before you can get anything done. And if you find a really good deal, time is of the essence. You want to get that offer out the door quickly because the good ones go fast. But one of the coolest things that I've found that Privy helps with, you guys, is once you do your local market research and you understand what a deal is, you understand where the bar has been set, you got comping algorithms that use the best data available, MLS data, to comp properties out for you, you get real confident real fast about your numbers. And when you're confident in your numbers and you understand what a deal is, you start to take action. You start to actually get offers out the door. So what I'm going to do for you guys tonight, this is our normal pricing. $1,788 is our normal pricing. If you just want to go and sign up for the year. But if you use the promo code OMNI, then that will lower the price down to $1,252 for the year. That's a 30% savings. 30% savings. Also, if you decide you want to sign up for the monthly plan, if it's Christmas now and you don't have $1,252 in your budget, totally fine. You can sign up on the annual plan, and we will allow you to take 20% off of your first month. And the normal pricing for that is $150 per month. So I'm going to grab the links for you. And if you do have questions, go ahead and actually just go ahead and put those in the chat. And then I will be able to get you going here. So thank you so much for everybody for being here. I'm going to have this deal available for you guys for a limited time, but enough time to where you can actually go in and talk to your significant other. Talk to a business partner, figure out if it makes sense for you. But I promise you, the software does exactly what it's designed to do. You will absolutely love it. Many of the people who are on this call likely already use Privy, so I believe that it's going to be a good tool for you as well. All right, cool. And I see some questions here. I'm going to answer those here one more moment. Let me just grab these links for you. Thank you for those questions. All right. There you go. I just put those in the chat for you. It's looking like I didn't see any chats in there, so maybe that's turned off. Did you guys try to chat and it didn't work? I apologize if that was the case. Before it just happened automatically. But there's the links to sign up.